Namaste. Welcome to everybody. Today I'm going to do a short session for your lower back or your sacral joint area. Our sacral joint is the area that goes from our lower back into our tailbone. And initially, when you are born, it's different joints. It's actually different bones that's kind of bound together. But as you get older, the bones, they fuse into one another and it becomes one piece of solid bone. And that means that it can get quite painful in your lower back. If you have lower back problems, you might feel it like a problem with your sciatica or a problem in your hip area. So it actually feels as if when I move my leg, I get a pain in my hip area. It can be a problem with your sacral joint. It's quite difficult to work with, so I found a couple of small things that you can do so that you don't feel, or of course you feel the pain, but where you can actually work with the pain so that you work it very, very gently, but you also get a big result out of what you do. Because when you do it, you have to take care a lot, because it is a very, very painful area to have. If you it can also be if you have a disc problem. It feels as if your entire lower back is just one big pile of pain. One thing is actually sure: if you have a problem with your sacral joint, it's difficult for you to be sitting like I am now. So my tip for you would be that you grab a pillow. It doesn't matter what kind of pillow it is, and then you kind of fold it, and then instead of lifting your butt and going down on the pillow, you just tip forward a little bit, and then you press your pillow under your sitting bones. Then you get a little bit of support under your buttocks, so that your sitting bones, instead of rolling back so that you sit on the back side of them, they actually get pushed up, and that means that you get a little bit of a calm feeling in your lower back and that you don't have any pain really. So that's a really, really good thing for you to do. I've had a lot of pain in my lower back, and I had a problem with my disc that slipped, and that meant that I had constant bleeding around the lower back, and it's quite painful. So I have a few tips for you if you have pains there. When you go down onto your back, because it is quite nice to lie on your back, make sure that you go down really gently. First of all, move your hands in, bend your elbows, and then slowly kind of engage your stomach so that you feel that your navel moves against your chest, so that your entire stomach, your core, is engaged, and then slowly come down. When you're down on the floor, pull your knees to your chest, and then you can actually tip a little bit from side to side. When you do that, you get a really nice movement over the back side of your hip area. If you want to have a little bit more a different touch, you can let your knees move in smaller circles either way. That will center the movement around your lower back and give you a small movement there. The more that you move, the better it is in this area. Or you can put your feet to the ground, and then you can do what I call in German bobbin. You actually lift your butt very, very gently and let it fall into the floor. When I really, really do it, it looks like this, but that's far too hard for you. So if you just kind of let your butt touch very, very gently, this gentle movement will make sure that your entire area is moved. Because you have to remember, your joints are made out of just like wine gums. Imagine that you have one red wine gum, you put that over in the window, you don't touch it, and you have a yellow wine gum. The yellow wine gum, every day you touch it like that, you kind of just move it up and down. After a week, the yellow wine gum will be flexible. After a week, where the red wine gum has been lying in the window, it will be hard. Imagine that is how your lower back is looking. So every time you move, that is really good. It releases the joint. It releases the the fragments in between your bones, so the bands between the bones, so that you actually can move a little bit. The more that you move, the better it is. So just imagine that every time you move, it is actually better for your lower back. Another small thing that you can do for your hip area is again an exercise, an asana that you can do on your back. Small, roll over to the side of your mat or in the long of your mat. Stomach is engaged, down on your elbows, and then you can pull your knees up. Then you put your feet to the ground, you let your hands be out to the sides. Now I'm going to make a movement that's going to be concentrated in your hip joints. On an in-breath, first of all, you stretch your leg up and your heel is pushed away so that you can feel all the muscle on the back side of your leg. That's the muscle chain on the back side of your leg that's actually activating, and that means that the entire back you feel. On an out breath, you feel how your lower back sinks into the floor and your heel floats away. The next in breath, you turn, but you don't turn just your foot. You turn the muscle on the upper thigh and let your leg fall out to the side. Here you can let your, in my case, my left hand on my left hip, because I don't want to tip away. Both my hips are supposed to be in the ground. And then I let my leg out as far as I can, as long as my heel is pushed away. On an out breath, I turn the muscle back in so that my foot follows and let it move a little bit across the middle. On an in breath, out to the side, both hips are in the floor. On an out breath, back over the middle. I'm just going to move a little bit so you can see it from how it looks like when you're moving your foot in across your body. I'm going to do it like this. Sorry. Here. I'm going to push my heel away, my entire muscle chain on the back of my leg. I'm going to put my hand on my hip that's not moving. In breath, I move my muscle away and let my leg fall to the side as far as I can. Out breath, muscle turns back and my foot moves a little bit over the middle. In breath, to the side, and out breath towards the middle again. Perfect. When you come up, again, feet to the ground, push yourself up onto your hands and move back. This is a really good exercise for your hip area. And your joint, your sacral joint, is a part of your hip area. So that means that every time you move your hip area. And your upper leg is made as a joint that moves all the way around. So the more that you move the entire radius, the more that you use your body as it's actually supposed to be used, the better it is. It's difficult to work with this joint because it's fused together. So it's actually just one bone. But now I'm going to show you an exercise that you can do with. I've taken here Klinisches Wörterbuch, so it's a big one, as you can see. You can also use a yoga block if you have one of those, or a Harry Potter book if you have one of those. But what you do is, again, you go down onto the floor very gently. I'm going to do it a little faster now. And then you put your heels towards your butt, and then you push yourself up. Then you turn the back of the book towards the middle of your body. And then you let the middle of the book go in the middle of your spine, so that it's only half your buttock. One buttock is supported, the other is not. And then you leave your hands to the sides, and the leg or the buttock that has got the leg, has got the support. First of all, you push your heel away as before, and then you let it stay there, out breath. On the next in breath, you let your heel fall gently to the ground, and then you feel how your entire hip and the front of your hip opens, the front of your thigh opens, and then gently you push it up and move it a little to the side and down. Up, a little to the side and down. Up, a little to the side and down. Always keep your heel tucked away so that your entire leg is active. When you come as far out as you can without tipping away, you're not allowed to tip away, you move back again. The entire side where your leg is bent is active, your stomach is active. And then you come back to the middle. And on an in-breath, you kind of just take your heel away from the floor so that you feel the entire length of your body. And on an out-breath, you let your heel go up front. In-breath. And on an out-breath, you bend your knee down, foot in the ground. And then you lift your buttocks away. And then you take the block or the book or whatever you have, slowly and gently away, and comes down. What you have done now is that you're actually working with just one half of your joint, of your sacral joint, so that it's moving. Even though it's fused, it can move a little bit because it's just fluid between there where it's fused together. So the fluid on one side is really well moved now. I'm going to show you again from another perspective so that you can actually see what I'm doing. And I'm going to do that here. So first of all, I go down, bend my knees, and then backside of the book towards the inside of my spine, and then I let the book or my block support one buttock. In this case, my left buttock. In breath, I let my heel flow up towards the ceiling. Out breath, I'm going to stay here. My right side is strong, and I feel my stomach work. In breath, foot down to the floor. And out breath, up and to the side and in the floor. In breath, up to the side and in the floor. Up to the side and in the floor. If this is enough, this is enough. Take care that you don't tip away or that you don't fall down. Make sure that you're in the middle here. So if this is enough, you come back, up towards the middle and in the floor. And when you come back here on an in-breath, you just lift your heel about 3 centimeters from the floor and make your leg really long. And on an out-breath, towards the ceiling. In-breath, you stay. And out-breath, bend your knee, in the floor. And then both buttocks away. And you take your block or your book away from under your body. Come slowly down. And here you can do that you kind of bend your knees and let them relax on each other. Or you can also come down into a full Shavasana if that's good for you. So, perfect. So stretch your legs and then feel how your feet are falling to each side. If this is too much for you, you can also just roll your mat up a little bit and tuck it under your lower back. And then you have a little bit of support under your buttock, under your lower back. And you have a little bit of support, so it means that your back is not completely straight and your lower back, your entire spine should be in the floor. If this is too much, bend your knees in. Your feet are now more than hip width apart. Your toes turn towards each other. And your knees, they kind of lean on each other just like a teepee. Perfect. And then just breathe in your stomach, in your lower back. And here comes the most difficult exercise, and that is trust that you don't have any pain when you breathe out. And just feel how your lower back feels when you breathe, how your stomach feels. And if you feel comfortable, slowly stretch one leg and the other. And just feel, how does my entire hip area feel? If you want to feel, can I move more or less? Just try gently to push yourself from side to side so that you feel if everything is moving. So this was a short session for you if you've got problems with your lower back or your sacral joint, because it is quite a problematic area to have pain in. So I wish you all the best, and I hope that you could use the tips